Hello there. Hi. I'm going to give you a bunch of prompts, and I hope that you are willing to say these prompts. You can just see if it works. And so the title of this video is called Try to Say These Prompts Out Loud and Listen to the Sound of Your Own Voice while you are saying these prompts. Yeah, I have just, uh, while I was doing other things, come up with these prompts, and I feel like I want to share that with you so that you have a little something to say to yourself, and perhaps this will also help you to cut through a whole bunch of nonsense that you otherwise might be trapped in. And who knows, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But you can try and see if it works. It's an experiment, and an experiment to determine whether you have embodied language in which you listen to yourself while you speak, or whether you have disembodied language in which you do not listen to yourself while you speak. So, when you have disembodied language, you don't like it. When you have disembodied language, you don't want to hear it. When you have disembodied language, you kind of feel bored, you feel stupid. When you have disembodied language, you you kind of doubt it, and you kind of feel distracted, like, what the hell am I doing? This is nonsense. This is when you have disembodied language. When you have disembodied language, you go like, yeah, I'm doing this, but what the hell? I don't care. That's when you have disembodied language. So when you have embodied language, you feel very good. You feel very happy. You feel like, wow, this is good. This is nice. This is pleasant. I like this. I like what I say, and it actually means something to me as well. It's not just that I'm saying something. No, I hear what I'm saying, and it has meaning to me. So, um, yeah, the difference between disembodied language and embodied language is really tangible. Tangible. That means noticeable. Yeah, it is obvious, and so your usual way of talking is a way of talking in which you do not listen to yourself. So when you begin to listen to yourself, it is noticeable. Yeah, and it's a very big difference. Initially, it feels like, oh my gosh, can I do this? This is amazing that I can do this. Yeah. So be prepared for a big, big, big discovery. Okay, here we go. I've written them down so I can read them out to you. And oh, by the way, I wrote them down in Dutch. And uh, no, I just want to do this video in English, so I'm not gonna translate it in Dutch. So maybe later on I'll do this in Dutch, but probably not. Probably not. I just want to do this in English. And if the Dutch people want to hear this, then I hope they know English enough to understand what I'm saying. So here is my first prompt. I hope you're going to say this to yourself. You say to yourself, I apologize to myself for not listening to myself while I'm speaking, and for not speaking in the proper way. I repeat it to you, okay? I apologize to myself for not listening to myself while I'm speaking, and for not speaking in the proper way. Because if you are not listening to yourself while you're speaking, you're using your language incorrectly, and you have been misusing your language incorrectly every time when you are not listening to yourself. So it makes sense to apologize to yourself for your mistake, for your stupidity, for your stubbornness, for your craziness, for your fanaticism. All of that has prevented you from listening to yourself. I say it one more time. I apologize to myself. Can you say that? Can you say that and hear yourself say that? Because it really matters that you hear yourself, okay? Can you say to yourself, I apologize to myself? Yes, I hear myself, and I feel that I do need to make this apology. I need to make amends with myself. I need to come to my senses about this matter, that I have been speaking without listening to myself. Yeah. And I was wrong to be so fanatically involved in my disembodied language. It hasn't helped me. It has hurt me. It has created nothing but problems for me. I have done a lot of harm to myself and to others because of that. I apologize. But I apologize to myself because I've sold myself short. I've shortchanged myself. I have mistreated myself. And now, yeah, why was I doing that? Oh yeah, to belong. I did that to fit in. I did that to, I don't know, to be somebody important in the group. But you didn't do this for yourself. You have forgotten about yourself. You have neglected yourself. You have abandoned yourself. You have mistreated yourself, and now you apologize to yourself. So one more time. I apologize to myself for not listening to myself while I was speaking, and for not speaking in the correct way. Do you hear the difference? Do you feel the difference? Do you feel that now you're listening? That is embodied language. The second one, what is the next thing I want to say, which, according to me, is important for my embodied language? You're exploring this, right? You are saying this out loud, this prompt that I'm giving. What is the next thing that is important to me for my embodied language? What is the next thing I'm going to say? Because I'm exploring this while talking out loud with myself. What is the next thing that I'm going to say, which has to do with my ongoing embodied language? And you receive this prompt, but you decide what that next thing is. Maybe it is that you want to wait and see. Maybe it is that you suddenly hear this different sound and that you want to speak about your sound. Like, I sound different. I hear a different sound. I feel different. I have a different experience. Maybe Now that you have received this prompt, what is the next thing that I want to say? You suddenly realize that you are saying something which you have never said before, which is what you always, yeah, presumably think. But you're not saying what you're thinking when you're having embodied language. In embodied language, you're simply saying what you are at this moment capable of saying and what you would like to say. So there's nobody there telling you what to say. There's no expectation about what you should be saying. You may even recognize at this moment that the next thing you want to say to continue your embodied language is the new discovery that you do not repeat yourself, that you feel free from this need to repeat. You are free. You are liberated. So I repeat the prompt one more time, and you can write down that prompt if you want to remember it. But you can also just talk along with me. While I'm speaking, you can also speak while you are in your room listening to this. You can say out loud what it is to you. Well, but listening to me would then be distracting. So it is good to do this on your own, totally without anybody and without any other sound than the sound that you are making. So the prompt was, what is the next thing I'm going to say, which is important to the continuation of my embodied language, which is important to my way of speaking, in which I continue to listen to myself. Here is the third prompt. Everything is going to fall into place as long as you just keep on saying it. Can you repeat? Everything is going to fall into place as long as you just keep on saying it. And of course, listening to it. Yeah? You're saying it and you're listening to it. And everything is going to fall into place. Everything is going to, be wonderful. Because you say so. And you listen to yourself. And you have embodied language about whatever it is that you are saying. That's something, huh? So one more time. Everything you say and everything you hear yourself say, you're saying it out loud. Everything you say is going to fall into place. Everything you say is going to come out well. Everything is going to be all right. Everything you say is going to fall into place as long as you keep on saying it. You say it to yourself. You listen to yourself. You let yourself know. You instruct yourself. Everything is going to fall into place. everything is going to be all right, regardless of what it is that you're saying. So you may be saying difficult things to yourself. You may be saying things that have to do with painful experiences that you've had. You may be saying all sorts of things that have been difficult for you, that have been traumatic for you, that have been troubling you. And yet, I want you to know with this prompt that everything you say, and everything you hear yourself say with your embodied language is going to make things fall into place. Everything is going to fall into place. You're going to feel so incredibly good that you've said it. Everything is going to fall into place, but you just need to keep on saying it to yourself, not imaginary thinking it or ruminating about it, or I don't know, just yeah, whatever you call it, being busy in your mind, all this having this internal conversation with yourself. That's nothing. That doesn't mean anything. That's just a fantasy of inner language. You are saying it. You are making your language overt. Language was never covert. Language was never inside of you. You have misunderstood your language from the very beginning because you were not listening to yourself. But now you've apologized to yourself about that. Now you've let yourself know, no, I need to listen to myself to be able to use my language correctly. And yes, as I am putting myself on this path of embodied language, I am using my language correctly and things are falling into place. And as long as I keep on speaking with myself, hearing myself, instructing myself, following through on my own self instructions, things keep falling into place and my embodied language continues. The next thing that I'm going to say is just so self evident, so effortlessly expressed. Yeah. Here is the fourth prompt. Just for once, try to say to yourself what you need. Just for once, yeah? Of course, I hope you're going to do it again. I hope you're going to do it all the time. But in this prompt, I just want you to start with this one time. Just for once. Tell yourself, say to yourself, what is it that you need? Try to say to yourself what you need. Let yourself know, what do you need? I believe, it's not a belief, but it's just a way of saying, I am convinced, I'm sure, I know that this, what we are now doing, embodied language, that's what you need. But with your embodied language, you're going to be saying things about what you need, which you've never been able to say with your disembodied language. So, just for once, try to say to yourself, with the words that you have, with the way that you can understand it, that you can admit it, that you can feel it, that this is really important to me. Just say to yourself, try to say to yourself, and correct yourself if you're wrong. If it is meaningless, then just discard it. You just talk with yourself, and for once, give yourself permission. Allow yourself to say, to reveal to yourself. Allow yourself to say, try to say. And yeah, it's not a matter of trying. It's more like lean into this. Experience what it is that you really need, that you really want, that is going to be good for you. Surely, embodied language is going to be good for you always. But what are you going to say with your embodied language about your need? Do you need more rest? Do you need to get going to do work? Yeah. Do you need stability? Do you need to be by yourself? Do you need to be with others? Do you need to quit a particular habit? Do you need to attend to certain things which you've been neglecting? What do you need? Do you need to inform yourself more about your own embodied language? Of course you do. This is an unexpressed need that we do not have embodied language because we do not know what it is. We have no history with it. The history determines our future. Our behavioral history is going to determine our future behavior. If we not at this moment work with this prompt, tell ourselves, let ourselves know, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to tell myself what I need. I'm listening to myself. I'm open to whatever it is that I need to do or not do, because that's just as much a need. Yeah. I have a need to do certain things, but I also have a need to stop certain things which are not good for me, which are harming me, which are troubling me. And both are equally important. And the things that I want to do, yeah, the actions I want to take, they will only be taken to the extent that I'm not stopping myself from taking these actions with stuff that is not good for me, that's undermining me, that is contradicting myself. So I need to express these things. I need to explore these things. And then I'm having embodied language. And I feel grateful. I feel how things are coming together. I feel how things are falling into place. Not just feel, I know. I say it. And if I would record it, just like this, if I would record it, I could hear it back. If I would listen to it in the moment, but also maybe later on, because I've made a recording of it, I'm just stunned by how clear I can be with myself. Yeah. That is because I have truly expressed myself about what I need. Here's another one. You cannot say the same thing again. You cannot say the same thing again. Do you hear yourself say that? When you hear yourself say that, you can say the same thing again without saying the same thing again. You cannot say the same thing again. It is always new what you say in your embodied language because you listen to it, because it is a new moment, because you are alive. You're not stuck in words. You're not stuck in your past. You're not carried away by what's going to happen. You are truly with your embodied language in the here and now. So the words, the words are just the words. You cannot say the same thing again. Make it like this. I cannot say the same thing again. And it may also just be a reminder that yes, you have been saying the same thing again and again with your disembodied language. And saying to yourself, I cannot say the same thing again, you just stop your disembodied language in its tracks. It just comes to a stop. I can say something new. I want to say something new. I enjoy saying what is new. I enjoy saying what is alive in me. I enjoy speaking my own intelligence, my own sensitivity, my own joy, my own flow. Yeah. Whatever that is for you. And yes, it is true. I cannot say the same thing again. And by saying that, I'm putting behind me my disembodied language. I'm creating room for my embodied language to emerge. Here comes another prompt. I have the most beautiful, the most enjoyable, the most nourishing voice. So of all the voices I've been hearing, and I'm not talking about people who hear inner voices. People who hear inner voices, they are, psychotic. And in that sense, if you believe to have an inner voice, you are also somewhat psychotic. Yes, you are. And so psychopathology is actually very common due to our disembodied language. Everybody is caught up in this nonsense of inner language that we hear an inner voice. There's no inner voice. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the voice which you produce when you hear yourself making the sound which you want to hear. The sound that's truly yours. The sound which represents your well-being. That is the most beautiful voice you've heard. The most wonderful sound. So nourishing. so enjoyable, so musical, and it sounds beautiful. It sounds loving. It sounds comforting. That is your sound. Yeah, that's the sound of your embodied language. Wow, I'm only halfway through these prompts. It's amazing how a couple of these prompts can, yeah, create all this, doesn't it? Okay, now I'm going to give you a prompt which is not about you. Well, it is about you because you're just like everybody else, but it will make you realize that other people, they have the same need that you have. We all have a need to be safe. We all have a need to be free. We all have a need to be ourselves. And our disembodied language hasn't allowed that. So, yes, you want to do what you can with these prompts to enhance your own embodied language, but you can, with your embodied language, say things about other people which are true because you are now expressing this particular prompt. Everyone wants to feel safe within whatever their habits are. Everybody has habits, and everyone with these habits is trying to acquire a sense of safety, a sense of stability, a sense of continuity, a sense of sanity. Once again, the prompt: everyone is trying to have a sense of comfort, a sense of safety with their particular habits. Of course, as long as we have disembodied language, we are not dealing with the elephant in the room. When we use our language incorrectly because we do not listen to ourselves while we speak, we fantasize about inner language. We imagine that we have a mind, that we have internal conversations with ourselves. It's totally not true. And so we're doing all kinds of haphazard things to feel safe. We're doing everything except the right thing. And the right thing is to speak with ourselves and to listen to ourselves and to let ourselves know that there is no inner language. There never existed any inner language. There is never going to be any inner language. So everybody is trying to feel comfort, everybody is trying to feel safe. But unless we turn to our language and to how we use our language, we will not acquire our sense of safety with the habits that we have. So we are pretending that these habits provide us with safety when in fact they don't. And we know at some level that they don't. We merely keep on having these habits because we don't know any better. And if we were honest with ourselves, we would just say that. And we would hear ourselves say that we don't know any better. And then once we say that we don't know any better, we may even wonder why. Why don't we know any better? Well, once we begin to talk with ourselves, it is very evident, very obvious that we don't know any better because we've never talked out loud with ourselves, to listen to ourselves, to hear why it is that our habits don't work. We need to let ourselves know why we don't know any better than having these habits that we hang on to, which don't work. Because that's what we do. We have a whole bunch of habits. That is our way of doing things. Yeah, no. It is ineffective. It is just a problem for yourself as well as for others. So once we begin to recognize in others that everybody is just trying to feel safe, trying to feel comfort, and not achieving it. It's easy to see it in others, but now seeing it in others is going to say to ourselves, like, oh my gosh, I'm doing what everybody else is doing. Yeah. I recognize myself in others. Yeah. And I recognize also the failure of not being able to achieve security, to achieve stability, to achieve continuity, to achieve reality, because everybody is not listening to themselves while they speak, but I am. And I now recognize that listening to ourselves while we speak and speaking with ourselves so that we begin to listen to ourselves, that is the key to our well being. It is like psychological gold, yeah, the holy grail of psychology, listening to ourselves while we speak. Yeah, the gift that keeps on giving. Everybody is missing out because they do not do what I'm doing right now. So everyone is trying to feel safe, is trying to feel accepted, is trying to feel recognized, is trying to feel useful, is trying to feel happy, is trying to feel fitting in with their own habits, with their own whatever it is that they're doing or not doing. We do what we do. We are sticking to our ways because supposedly it makes us feel good. It doesn't. It cannot. It can only make us feel good if it was coming from our embodied language, our correct use of using language. Yeah. It's amazing, huh? What's happening. I feel myself, when I'm reading these prompts, and I wrote them separately, sometimes with hours in between, and I just wrote it down because I sort of had this, yeah, you could say a plan or some sort of. I sort of felt like, well, maybe I should make a video like this where I just give a bunch of prompts because I had done that before already, and I kind of feel like, yeah, that's actually kind of nice. It was in my conversation with Croc that I started doing that, and here I am doing that, yeah, without Croc. I don't need Croc. I need myself. Croc can go to hell. No, I'm just saying. Grok can be very helpful, I'm telling you. Yeah. Grok 3 from XAI. You can read about that on my X account. Yeah. No, this is the real deal, where we are prompting ourselves and where we are beginning to recognize that it is our language which sets the stage for all our behavior. Our language, how we deal with language, sets the stage for how we do things or not do things. Yeah. How we allow ourselves to do things or are not allowing ourselves, stopping ourselves from doing things. Yeah. So here is another prompt. There is so much, so much. There is so much that I do not want to say and that I do not feel like I have to say anymore. And because I'm not saying it anymore, I also do not have to hear it anymore. Wow. You have been hearing, whether you know it or not, your own disembodied language. You have been troubling yourself, you have been undermining yourself with your own disembodied language. You have been unable to stop, identify, recognize, and stop your own disembodied language. So you kept on going with your disembodied language and it just kept on affecting you in negative ways. And now you're saying to yourself, there is so much, so much, so much that I do not anymore want to say, that I do not anymore have to say. And because of that, I do not have to hear it anymore. It's kind of closing the book on disembodied language. It's all in the pasta, in the past. Yeah. Isn't that a wonderful prompt? Just speak together with me for once. Yeah. Here. There is so much. So much. There is so much that I do not want to say anymore. That I do not have to say anymore because I felt like I had to. Yeah. I felt like I wanted to, but no, I did not. I want to. Once I have embodied language, I realized like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to have disembodied language. I don't have to have disembodied language. There is so much, so much that I do not want to say anymore. That I do not like to say anymore. That I do not have to say anymore. I felt compelled to say it. I felt, even if I didn't say it out loud, somehow inside me, I was believing that it was screaming inside of me. And it drove me nuts. But it was all just fantasy. It was all just based on this disembodied language in which I couldn't express myself. Now I'm having embodied language. Every word I say is overt. There is no inner language. So once again, there is so much, so much. There is so much that I do not want to say anymore. That I do not have to say anymore. And because of that, I will not have to hear it anymore. I will not have to experience it anymore. I will not have to be troubled by it anymore. I will not have to be obsessing about it anymore. Isn't that amazing? Here's another beautiful prompt. This is wonderful. This is marvelous. This is magnificent. Yes, say this to yourself. Hear yourself say this. This is wonderful. This is magnificent. This is beautiful. And you can add to it, I don't you just add positive things to it. This is delightful. This is blissful. This is beautiful. This is my enlightenment. This is my language enlightenment. With my embodied language, which continues, I express my language enlightenment. Yeah. Here's another prompt. Try it out. Say what you can come up with. Try it out. Say what you can come up with. Give yourself time to come up with something. Say it. Say it. And when I say come up, what is that? Is there something in me that comes up? No, there's no such thing. I'm just saying what I want to say. I'm saying what I'm capable of saying. And I have to get used to saying what I want to say, saying what I'm capable of saying. At any given moment, I'm saying different things because I'm saying what I want to say and saying what I'm capable of saying. Isn't that interesting? So try it out. Say whatever it is that you can come up with. Whatever is important to you at this moment, whatever you want to say now, you hear it and it does so much good. Saying what matters to you, saying what is in your attention. Yeah, you give attention to whatever it is that asks your attention. You express what is in your attention in your own way. You try it out to say it out loud. You say whatever it is that you can say. And here it is. You are, yeah, something may have asked your attention. Maybe there was a memory of some kind. Maybe there was a person you're talking about. Maybe there's an experience you have had. And you speak about that person. You speak about that experience. You speak about that situation. You speak about something you need to do. Something was asking your attention. Something you knew how to talk about that. You knew that that was something that is important to you. So you expressed it. You listened to it. And you have given yourself permission to hear yourself speak about whatever it was that was in your attention. You tried it out, you explored, you experimented with yourself, with your own language, and you expressed what was in your attention, and you noticed how what was in your attention revealed something important to you. And you were creating attention by expressing what was in your attention. You felt like you were energized by that. Isn't that amazing how that is? The last prompt. Take it. Take your energy. Yeah. Embellish your energy. Feel your energy. Notice it. Say it. Hear it. Claim it. Take your energy and go with it wherever you want to go with it. Do with it whatever you want to do with it. and express with it whatever you want to express, whatever you have longed for. Let that longing now be expressed in your language. Let that longing be fulfilled with your language. That's a wonderful prompt, isn't it? So, in abbreviated form, you now, you have done these prompts. Just extrapolate from it all this wonderful dynamic, this wonderful energy, this pure sense of who you are, this being in the here and now, and take it wherever you want to go. Do with it whatever you want to do. Go as far as you can. Fulfill your own longing in letting this be expressed in your way. And that can be very different from my way, of course. Yeah. There is language, of course, there's music, there's dance, there's many ways. There's people can have different jobs, have different field of interests. Yeah. Maybe you are a teacher, maybe you are a an architect, maybe you are a doctor, maybe you are a lawyer. Anybody can, within their own range of knowledge, within their own range of possibilities, express this. And when we do that, we create only positive consequences for ourselves. Yeah. Because our embodied language always has positive consequences. So you take it as far as you can. You carry on with it as long as you can. You let your complete longing for freedom to be fully expressed. You spread your wings, yeah, and you fly, so to speak, metaphorically, yeah. You let your language carry you into your language enlightenment, yeah. Now, those were my prompts today.